Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Slurpathon 2022, where we currently are about to have runner ZE triple L triple O. Is that right, Zello?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I think I was pretty close. About to run an any percent run of Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. Take it away.
Thanks, Dot. So yeah, I'm Zello, however you want to say it. Never matters to me. This is gonna be Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. Really, really fun little beat 'em up on the NES. I'm playing the Wii Virtual Console version of the game because it's just the easiest for me to capture right now. So we'll go ahead and reset here. This is going to be an any percent. This run is done on Supreme Master. This is the only difficulty that actually plays through the entire game. So that's what we're going to go. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So the first thing you're going to notice is this very powerful knee attack. This is the knee, and it is so powerful that it takes not only a jump to get into a crouch position, but you only have 4 frames to execute the attack when you hit the ground. And I say that in a very weird way because this game is a little strange with lag. Every other frame is a lag frame in this game, so you also need to kind of make sure you hold your 2 attack buttons when you do the knee, otherwise it's easy to drop them. It's got some other good attacks too, like the dragon kick right there, or the hyper uppercut. These are going to be our main tools for getting rid of stuff. We do have like kicks and punch combos, but those are pretty slow in general, so we try not to rely on them. These are much faster. And this game also doesn't have any kind of spawns that you can just kind of like skip. You could have to kill everything in order to advance. So we just try to get rid of everything as efficiently as possible here. So story behind this game is that this takes place after Double Dragon 1. Got our 2 brothers, Billy and Jimmy Lee. Unfortunately, Billy's girlfriend, Marion, is killed by the mysterious Shadow Warriors, and we're just out for some revenge. So, speaking of revenge, we're going to get revenge on Burnov, right here, our first boss. He runs a lot, but we just want to show him a good time. We're going to show him around the city, so we're just going to drop him right over the edge of the ledge over there. And that skips a very, very long animation of him disappearing and reappearing when he gets to certain health thresholds, So this game has 9 levels. Normally we would actually use all 3 of our lives pretty early on to do some death strats, but for some marathon safety, I'm going to hold on to 2 of those. Thankfully, I did not get knocked off the ledge there. This game's pretty notorious for its RNG. Enemies can just do whatever they want, and they can also duck under your attacks. So you just kind of roll with what you got and pray for the best here. So we're going to get behind this helicopter. We're going to set up the knee on these next sets of enemies. Get rid of 2 Lindas, 2 Williamses, and then 2 right arms right here. Perfect. So this game alternates between like pseudo 3D areas where you can kind of move up and down, and then just these static 2D scrollers. This is actually kind of important because if this next boss fight goes poorly, it's going to be very difficult to recover. So hopefully we're going to get these ninjas right here. Okay, that's part 1. Perfect. So the ninjas are by far the worst enemy to try and chase down because they will just outmaneuver you. They will slam you against everywhere. It is very difficult to kill them. So that went pretty alright here. So we're going into a pretty short stage right here with the helicopter. The gimmick here is that the door opens every once in a while and starts sucking enemies towards the door. And we're going to hopefully be able to drop one of these Abobos through that door when it opens again. Nope, not anymore. He decided to just be a jerk. Okay, so we'll just have to just kill this one normally. Yeah, Abobos have ridiculous amounts of priority. And they have pretty much 1 frame attacks, so getting around them is very difficult if you don't get an early knee on them. So I'm going to skip another death strat here. Normally we jump in the water in order to spawn closer to these ropers, but I want to save some lives, so that's fine. We'll just do some very simple maneuvers and try not to scroll the screen too far. We don't want to scroll the screen too far right here because we want the Lindas right here to keep spawning on the right side. If we scroll too far, they spawn on the left. So thankfully that screen went very well. And then we have kind of an awkward section down here at the bottom. This game doesn't have a typical punch and kick button like you would like pretty much every other fighting game. It has attack left and attack right. So what you actually do is context sensitive to which way you're facing. So I was going to use the kicks to try and knock these right arms down, but unfortunately they weren't really cooperating. And this Arnold right here is not cooperating either. Interestingly enough, you can actually hit the ceiling here with a jump, and it won't damage you, but it will put you in the crouching state, and you don't have to do the knee or the hyper uppercut from just a jump. You can do it from any knockdown state. So we can abuse that with the ceiling in order to get some extra knees off. Oh, that's silly Linda. Silly Linda just got blown up by the grenades. Okay.
Do you mind if I just hop in real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. So we actually have two donations. We have $25 coming in from Senpai with the comment saying, do your thing, but do it really fast. Also, save Meryl. So that $25 is going to be going to the Save Meryl incentive for Metal Gear Solid. But then we also received $80 from WJG 999 with a comment that says, let's just get the current open incentives out of the way. 30 to Doom, 50 to Saving Meryl. Good luck with the runs, and I hope a lot will be raised during this event. With that, there's a little bit of overflow of the money that went to the Saving Meryl incentive. So WJG in chat, I'm going to be getting with you in a bit just to see where you would like the rest of your money for the incentive to go towards. Back to you, Zelllooo.
Thank you, and thank you all for meeting the donation incentives, especially for Doom, because that'll be up after this. You'll get to see some extra, very fun content that hasn't been shown off really in any marathon. So this level's pretty straightforward as a whole. I'm gonna hope these guys don't throw dynamite at me. Good. They like to do that. And the dynamite can actually interrupt your jumps and just make you fall. Also, shoutouts to just knocking these Abobos straight off the edge with the dragon kick. Uh-oh. Okay, that could have gone a lot worse. They can knock you off too. So, thankfully that didn't happen. Alright, so we got some new enemies coming up right here. We've got Chins. They like to dance around a bit. They have a jump attack that can kind of out-prioritize your knee sometimes. So hopefully they're not going to do another of that. I think they're dead. Okay. So here comes the train. So hopefully we're going to get a fast cycle here. I'm going to play this extra safe. I don't want to fall off the train and lose cycles. So got up there fine. So we're going to do knee. I'm going to get one more knee on this roper. Knee for the right arms. And then there's an Arnold that spawns. We're actually going to do a hyper uppercut right here and whiff it. So it was a little early on the hyper uppercut. Thankfully, the Arnold actually stayed right there. So we can keep him on top and just knee him out. So, that's fine. Okay, so coming up is the only death strat I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to walk off the edge right here and throw myself into the pit. I respawn with invincibility, and that allows me to skip the RNG of the flames coming down, which they can just ruin your run, so we just avoid that altogether. And it's roughly about the same time to do that than it is to just walk over. So, very convenient strat. Oh, that right arm. Right arms have a lot of priority as well, so they're difficult to deal with. They generally have a lot of health. And that's one weird quirk of this game, too. There's a couple weird quirks with health. The different, enemies between levels, even if they're the same type, they can have different amounts of health. And even if you have an enemy's HP to 0, or yours for that matter, nothing's considered defeated unless you knock it down. Hence why we don't really try and rely on punch combos. Also, shoutouts to getting past that very, very scary platforming. This game is renowned for its pretty interesting platforming areas, like this. So this is the longest level in the rain. This is the trap room. This is going to have some pretty interesting scenarios. It's very fun to play, but it's a little scary. So we've got it burn off again. We're going to try and knock him over the edge into the spikes. Perfect. So here's what we skipped in the first level by knocking him over the edge. And if we didn't kill him this way, we'd have to sit through another of those right now. So this is the only room in the game with no RNG, as long as we do it right. And if we do it wrong, we probably just fall in the spikes and die. Perfect. Okay, now we've got 3 ropers on this bridge. Unfortunately, they also drop dynamite, so that makes things a little sketchy. Because the dynamite can knock you over the edge. Or it can knock them over the edge, too. Okay, that room went really well. Nice hitbox. And then we've got big arena room here. So I'm going to try and go for very specific attack combinations to make sure I have just the right amount of damage. So I don't have to worry about extra knockdowns. I did one extra there. That's fine. He ducked under my knife! They're onto my strats. They're onto me. Come on, Roper. Okay, 2 punches and a knee for each of these Ropers. Shout out to this game's awesome soundtrack, by the way. This game has a really good soundtrack.
I absolutely agree. Also, just want to come in and say, Shawnee donated $7.39. Thank you so much. Very appreciated.
His right arm's not on the same plane as me. Alright, we've got one last Arnold to finish the level out. Hopefully we can just kind of loop him against the wall. The power of the knee right there. Alright, that brings us to the penultimate level. This is basically a big enemy boss rush. Mostly just like the strongest enemies. So 3 chins to start. Gonna hug the wall right here to get a speed boost. Got a few right arms coming up right here. I don't like this positioning. Okay, and after we kill this last right arm, we want to go down. We want to scroll the screen down as far as possible, because we will have to... The screen will scroll down automatically, but we want to do it ourselves so it wastes less time. So there's an Arnold off screen, now we have 2 Bobos. And then we've got one very scary strat here for 2 ninja pairs. I'm going to go for the hard strat here. I'm going to knock them down with a jump kick, time the knee, and then we have to do it again while they're offset. And perfect. And that brings us to the boss fight. We got the illusion fight right here. So it's got pretty much everything I've got, aside from the knees, thankfully. Hopefully it's not going to disappear on me. It can do that and waste a bunch of time. I'm not getting very good positioning on this, so I need 2 more knees to knock him down. And now he's backing away. Oh, he's also got Hadokens. Okay, we didn't get any disappearing acts, so that's fine. Alright. And that brings us to the last level of the game, and this is actually a big reason why I saved some extra lives, just in case. So we got the fight against the Shadow Warrior right here. He's a jerk. I'm going to try and manipulate his movement very specifically because he backflips a lot. So we're just going to try and be in very specific positions so that he just walks right into our knees. Oh, I had him in a good loop. That's the attack that worries me, because that thing does 3 bars of health, and he can just combo you over and over. One more? Oh, okay. Overall, a great fight. And that is time. Okay.
Very nice.
12:26. That's not bad for a marathon. That's only about a minute off my PB in a very RNG-heavy game. So, pretty happy with that. So... we get our revenge, we defeat the Shadow Warrior. I won't spoil too much of the ending, so we'll just call that there. But this game's fun. It's just a fun little romp. I think it's the best of the Double Dragon trilogy on NES, and it's a very fun co-op game as well. So if you get a chance to play it, you should definitely play it. But I think we'll wrap this one up. We'll get set up for Doom 64 in just a second. So stay tuned, everyone.
Too easy. Yeah, perfect. I was just about to ask. Yeah. So everybody just stick around. Zelllooo with Zoom, just keeping your seats and make sure to hydrate as well. You know, if you're not grabbing some water, please do so while we're, on the break screen and whatnot. That was a really quick run. We'll see you all in a bit.